division by 13.5 over Arizona, 14 over San Diego, and 14.5 over Colorado. How the West was won, right? In the wild card in National League, the Nats hold the first wild card spot today by a half a game over Philly. The Phillies have the second wild card, a half game lead over the Brewers. A game and a half is out. They are the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Padres are 2 out. The Cardinals 2 out. The Rockies and Pirates both 2.5 out. The Reds 4.5 out as we look at it. Easy Kill's got to go. Hey, it's great to have you in the chat room for a few minutes this morning, Easy. And remember, he has no shows this week. So hopefully everybody else has internet. It's bad when you don't. Let's look at the American League leaders. Since I can't go through all the details I want to give you the top 10 in these categories as we head into the All-Star break, or now are in the All-Star break, excuse me. Some 70 games left to go. And we'll talk about some of these players as we go through. I'll pause briefly. Leading the American League in batting so far this year is DJ LeMahieu. And LeMahieu is hitting, he's hitting .336. Brantley, he leads by 12 points. Michael Brantley is second at .324. Rafael Devers tied with Brantley at .324. Tim Anderson currently on the IL at .317. Polanco, fifth in average in the American League at .312. Here's a good one. Alberto for the Orioles, sixth in the American League in batting at .309. Moncada for the White Sox at .308. Whit Merrifield, eighth at .306. And tied for ninth, J.D. Martinez and Miguel Cabrera at .304. Let's take a quick look at that. LeMahieu certainly, I think, if not the MVP in the American League, a top 5 candidate to win it this year. And he's certainly somebody in fantasy, may not even have been drafted. So if you were fortunate to either draft him really late or pick him up off of waivers, kudos. I mean, way to go, you fantasy gurus who did that, because not only is he hitting .336, he's hitting clutch .336 for the Yankees. And then what about Michael Brantley? I told you I made a trade for Brantley early in the league this year. I had Locane for the Brewers. I drafted him. I wanted Brantley. I want players on the Astros. And I got 3 right now currently. I have Jordan Alvarez, I have Michael Brantley, and I have Carlos Correa, who's on the IL, and that gives me 3 Astros in one fantasy league on one team. I think the Astros are going to have a big second half scoring runs when they get all their players back. Brantley's a big part of that. A free agent that any team could have had. The Astros go out and get him in the offseason. He's their everyday left fielder, hitting .324 with some pop in the middle of that order. What a great acquisition for the Astros. Devers, third, or tied for second in batting average. And Rafael Devers had a slow start to the year, average-wise and power-wise. He wasn't driving the ball, and all of a sudden, wham, things click in for Devers. He's now over 50 RBIs. He's in double digits in home runs after a very, very slow start. .324 on the batting average. Third in the American League. Tim Anderson, and remember Anderson the first month, and he does this historically. He'll start the first month of the year, April, just like a house of fire, right? He was over 400. He's now down to .317. He's on the injured list. He's going to be out for a little while, and I'm really concerned about Anderson and his average and his production in the second half. With the injury and with his second half slow history, Anderson's one that I think will fall out of the top 10 in batting average in the American League. I really do. I don't see him sustaining the .317. He's probably a .270, .280 hitter, but that's not going to put you in the top 10 in the American League. Polanco, what a surprise. Jorge Polanco, the Twins shortstop, hits either first or second in that order. He's at .312, ranked 5th in the American League in batting. It's got to be a surprise, but no more of a surprise. The biggest surprise got to be Hanser Alberto for the Orioles. Who saw that coming? If you'd have said Pick the top 6 batting averages at the All-Star break, and you just said this in not even draft day, May 1st. How many people would have said Alberto? Okay, certainly not me. I would not have picked Alberto to be a batting leader on the Orioles, but he is. And so, hey, if he's available in the league, he may be on a waiver wire now. I don't know. Go get him. 309. You're not kidding. I mean, that's pretty good. I'm looking at the chat room. Jack says LeMahieu or Trout for MVP. I'm going to talk about Trout some more in some other categories because Trout leads the league in RBIs. He leads the league in home runs. The thing is, I think if the Angels can become more relevant wild card wise, Jack, then maybe Trout is MVP. But when you look at the numbers, his numbers are not head and shoulders above everybody else, although he's a league leader. But LeMahieu's numbers are the reason, a big reason why, particularly with all the injuries, that the Yankees are in first place. And I'll liken it to this. If you remember back in 1988, look at the National League stats of Kirk Gibson and Darryl Strawberry. Okay? If you look at those stats, Darryl Strawberry, 39 home runs, over 100 RBIs, the Mets win the division. Kirk Gibson, only 25 home runs, 88 RBIs, the Dodgers win the World Series. The thing is, without Kirk Gibson in 1988, the Dodgers don't make the playoffs. Without DJ LeMahieu in 2019, where would the Yankees be? Because they were decimated with injuries earlier in the year. So we'll see. That guy talking about Anderson, he's going to steal bases, he's going to hit home runs, and you're right. This is why I think his average drops. He swings at everything. The White Sox strike out a lot. Anderson's a ringleader of that, right? He's going to continue to strike out. He may hit some home runs. Yeah, he'll steal some bases, but I don't see the 317 average. Number 7 in batting, Mankata, 308. That's a surprise. Boy, he's really made some adjustments. Do you think he continues his 308, that guy? I don't think so. I think Mankata may be a 285, 290 hitter. He had a really hot start, as a lot of White Sox hitters did. Pitchers have adjusted. The book has been read, and Mankata's average has dropped some, although he's very productive with home run power, driving in runs. He's going to steal you some bags. But I'm talking about batting average right now, batting average only. Whit Merrifield's at 306 for the Royals, 8th in the league. I think that average goes up. I think he may get traded. He's a free agent end of the year. I see Eloy leads that league like at 35%. I thought he was like around 38. Eloy's going to strike out a lot. You know he's going to get some home runs, but he's going to strike out a lot. But he's a rookie, and his numbers, hopefully, as we go into next year, I'm sure he'll work on that, cutting down the strikeouts. But that's where we are this year with Eloy Jimenez. And I said earlier, Miggy Cabrera at 304. A lot of loss of power, but the average is still there. And J.D. Martinez is at 304. And look for J.D. Martinez to have a big second half. Home run-wise in the American League, Mike Trout, 28, leads the league by 3. Ever since Skaggs passed away, Trout has really kicked it into another level. And now he has 28 home runs. Double E, Edwin Encarnacion, 25. Gary Sanchez, 24. Bregman, 23. Soler, 23. Abreu, 21. Chapman, 21. Kepler, 21. Vogelbach, 21. 21 seems to be the magic number. And Joey Gallo, 20. Now, Gallo's been out a while, so you can expect Gallo to move up that list. Who on that list is a surprise? Is Soler a surprise at 23 homers? I told you guys. This is why you need to keep listening to me. I don't always get everything right. But we talked about Soler at the beginning of the year, that he was going to be in a position to get the opportunity to play every day, either right field or DH. He's not going to give you a big average. What's he, around 240, 245? But he's going to give you big home runs. You know, he could be the first Royal to hit 40 home runs in a season if he does it this year. And he's on pace to do that. He's a surprise, though, on this list for some. I'm not really surprised. Anyone else a surprise? How about Vogelbach? At the beginning of the year, did you think he'd have 21 and be in the top 10? Kepler changes his approach. Kepler's a streaky hitter, though, isn't he, guys? I mean, he's either 4 for 4, 2 or 3 days in a row, or 0 for 4, 2 or 3 days in a row. But I think I'll take that. I think I'll take that at the top of that order. Now, they got 3 games coming out of the break with Cleveland. Wow, what a great start. You got to watch those. That's must-see TV. Jack Youngblood, Maryland's favorite son, Annapolis, said, I just traded Nick Senzel for Daniel Vogelbach. So you got Vogelbach? Is that what you're saying, Jack? I assume that's what you're saying. I like that trade. Senzel just twisted the ankle. Don't you just feel like he's a glass house sometimes? I mean, he's a great talent, but he's still only hitting 265. It's not like Senzel's hitting 300. He's hitting 265. He's at the top of the order against lefties, middle of the order against righties, and now he's got a sprained ankle. I don't know how long he'll be out. Yeah, that guy said, Andrea, and I heard Andrea say that, over 30 hitters on pace for 40 home runs. I wonder if there are not going to be more. I think you're going to have a big second half. I mean, the weather's hot, the ball's flying even more. Here I've just given you 10 American League players with 20 or more home runs. 10. And there's probably a lot at the 17, 18, and take a player like Devers who's just heating up. RBIs, American League. Here we go. And I'm looking at the chat room as I go through this, so I'll stop every now and then. I agree. Unholy Toledo made a great point in the chat room, and that is he used to think Vogelbach was the poor man's Schwarber. Now he thinks it's the other way around. Schwarber, to me, has fallen off the grid, and Vogelbach is a player to have. Here are 2 reasons why. Schwarber still struggles some with lefties. Vogelbach, though he may struggle some, he's playing every day. He's going to play every day, except for an occasional day off for rest in the second half. Count on it. Vogelbach, 40 homers. Count on it. RBIs, American League. Trout, 67. Abreu, 66. Bogart, 65. The aforementioned potential American League MVP, DJ LeMahieu, 4th in the American League in RBIs at 63, only 4 behind Trout. Santana for Seattle, 63. Devers, 62. Rosario, 60. Soler, 59. Gary Sanchez, 57. Bregman, 56. Not to keep pumping up Jorge Soler, 8th in the American League with 59, but he's a surprise on this list when you probably thought at the beginning of the year anyone else looked like a surprise to you other than DJ LeMahieu, who's 4th. How about Domingo Santana? Tied for 4th at 63. And like I said, with the start he had, for Devers to have 62 RBIs, wow. I mean, all of these guys I'm just talking about are going to have 100 RBIs this year. Trout leads the league in RBIs. And again, going back to the question I saw earlier, who's the MVP right now, Trout or LeMahieu? LeMahieu leads in average. Trout has more home runs, obviously. Trout has 4 more RBIs. The Yankees are in first by 6. The Angels are 6.5 out of the wild card. Does it matter? Does it also matter that American League votes for MVP might be split amongst Yankee players? Something to think about. Stolen bases in the American League. The league leaders. Alberto Mondesi. Yes, formerly known as Raul. 28 stolen bases. Smith for the Mariners, 23. Andrus, 19. Jose Ramirez, not hitting much of anything, but stealing bases still. 18 stolen bases. Kevin Kiermaier, 17 for the Rays. Villar, 17 for the Orioles. Hamilton, only 16 for the Royals. Anderson, 15. D. Gordon, 15. And Gore for Kansas City, who doesn't even play all the time, with 13 stolen bases. Mondesi, wow, what a breakout year for him. I mean, he came on in the second half last year, played well. You wondered what you'd get out of him this year. He's really played well. Been on the IL a little bit. Still 28 stolen bases, on pace to get 50. Malik Smith at 23. You got to believe he's going to get regular playing time in the second half. He started off slow.